Hello, Dr. McCourty and everyone. This is AJ Moore once again, here to present my last presentation on who possesses information in the digital world. I really had trouble with this one, and I hope that I can do the presentation justice. I will start with the issue of possession and intellectual property rights. These rights can include copyrights, trademarks, trade secrets, and patents. I will begin with possession. Possession refers to information in hand or under the control of the person who possesses it. The possessor has to be a living thing, therefore a computer is not the possessor of the information content. Possession is said to be the owner of the device, but when it comes to the internet, the question is, who owns the information? Or in other words, who is liable for the content? There are several factors when it comes to information such as privacy laws, copyright, and intellectual properties, infringement, and the technological revolution in regards to different countries that have access to the information. What is intellectual properties? Here's a simple explanation on intellectual properties I found while conducting my research from a website called Alexandra Wrote. Intellectual property includes the words we read, the images we see, the videos we watch, and the music we listen to. Most of it is made available to us for free, but free doesn't make it ours. It doesn't matter where you achieve the content, book, magazine, or online. This country or another. The information is not yours, and copying the information is known as piracy. Now, piracy. One resource I included in my presentation states, computer piracy is the reproduction, distribution, and use of software without permission of the owner of copyright. I know piracy is a serious crime that a lot of people take lightly, especially in regards to movies and music. People who owns copyrights and finding it challenging to fight piracy, especially in this digital age. It is really easy for unlawful reproduction and even distribution of work, and easy for the guilty to avoid the penalties. The informational content, whether legal or illegal, is the possession of the owner or user of the computer. A corporation or group of people can possess this information, but on the other hand, the government may possess this information, but the government cannot legally own it because the owner of the information is the people governed and it is in the public domain. In the United States, we have the Freedom of Information Act that requires all non-sensitive and unclassified documentation to be available to any person who may inquire. Here's a quote I found while conducting my research. I think intellectual properties is more like lands and copyright violation is more like trespasses. Even though you don't take anything away from the landowner when you trespass, most people understand and respect the laws that make it illegal. The real crime in copyright violation is not the making of the copies, it's the takeaways of the creator's right to control the creation. Brad Tempton. I agree with Mr. Tempton. Intellectual property is just that another person's property. You cannot just go and do what you want with another person's property. So just like most people respect and understand the law of trespassing, intellectual properties is the same way and should be respected even if the property is from another country or origin. Now, let's take a look at copyrights. Copyrights is protection for original work of authorship are fixed in a tangible form, whether published or unpublished. Other protection includes patent, invention, trademarks for company identification, and trade secrets that give a company the comparative advantage. With the development of new technology growing at a fast pace, there is a growing concern about the possession of information, especially on a global scale. Just because information is put on electronic devices does not mean one is at risk of implication. Instead, it opens up a whole new avenue of discovery. Now that we have said the possession is said to be the owner of the device, but when it comes to the internet, the question is, who owns the information? In this technical revolution progression, countries are shifting the emphasis from tangible to intangible assets as electronic devices continue to grow. These new devices are making ways for a new incentive for countries to follow these innovations. There are three components to the technological revolution: the growth of high-speed communication infrastructure, a drastic decline in the cost of storage, and the digitalization of content. The global impact of digitalization is the most important phenomenon that has affected the intellectual property industry over the past few decades. Although there is a wide assortment of laws to protect a person's intellectual property rights, the subject of copyrights today is still a significant growing issue among people from different nations. There is a drive for standardized agreements on intellectual property rights protection for firms that are international. Nevertheless, nearly 180 countries have ratified a treaty, the Berne Convention, administered by the World Intellectual Properties Organization, the WIPO, that set a minimum set of standards for the protection of the rights of the creators of copyrighted work around the world. Now, let's take a look in respect of people who work overseas. The data information is the byproduct of technology. That data starts with information technology, better known as IT. The IT department is responsible for the designing and maintaining of a business organization computer system. They control the system and the information. Therefore, in the work environment, the data entered in on work surveys is the property of the company in which the person works. In contrast, this is not the case for personal information, and new laws are being implemented to try and resolve this growing concern. Now we will look at an international case. The New York Court ruled in 2014 that private emails and personal information to internet users could be handed over to the United States laws enforcement. Officers, even if the information is stored on servers outside the United States, in this case, the data is stored on servers in Ireland. Microsoft has appealed, but yet has not made it to the Supreme Court to get a final ruling. The same case is now scheduled to go to the U.S. Supreme Court this summer. The case is in regards to the United States government demands to obtain digital data held anywhere in the world against privacy campaigners and their push for limitation. In addition, lawmakers are pushing for new laws to determine when governments can and should gain access to data while protecting the privacy of sensitive information. It will be interesting to see the verdict handed down by the Supreme Court. In 2006, the European Commission wanted to provide a standardized consensus for content across country borders. Through this initiative, they developed the High Expert Group, HLG. The HLG was made of 20 experts. They recommended solution for consensus in three distinct areas: digital digital preservation, open works, and out-of-print works. In summary, when it comes to digital information, the originator of the data is the owner when it comes to personal information, whether it is on a computer or some other means of data storage. On the other hand, in the world of work, the data is owned by the company, especially if it is maintained on company servers. When it comes to global information, each country may have its own rules, laws, and regulations on how to handle and protect private information. Even though effort has been made at standardized content, it is still a long way to go. The HLG is a group with over 20 experts that were positioned together in 2006 by the European Commission to examine the Digital Library Initiative. This group established some common regulations to follow to give a consensus for countries to follow in regards to information storage and retrieval. There are court cases that have been taken to the Supreme Court to set a precedent to follow in regards to the do's and don'ts of information privacy and possessions. This is a revolving concept, and regulation is greatly needed to provide a standard. I would like to add that I have learned so much from this course that I will be able to take with me as I continue my education. I hope everyone's life journey is a smooth path to your destination. Sign off for the last time. Thank you.